Overview. No matter what, let's be honest for a moment. How self-assured or self-sufficient a woman? It appears that there are unspoken flaws that every man ought to be aware that it's not concerning deceit or gaming. It's on comprehending human nature and being aware of potential weak points. And it's not the obvious ones, such as envy or insecurity. Those are only the surface. In reality, women are just such as men's shortcomings, and when you can navigate them because you know what they are. Connections with a lot more assurance and comprehension. I finally grasp what you're wondering, why I should concentrate on flaws. Shouldn't I be helping her? And you should, of course. But recognizing these shortcomings doesn't imply taking advantage of them. It implies understanding the psychological aspects that motivate behavior and are aware of. Someone may falter and provide you with information. Exploring how to improve your relationship with them. To improve communication and how to steer clear of blunders that can be prevented. So, why is it so crucial that men recognize these particular flaws in simple partnerships are the solution for women? Are not always easy to navigate. There are miscommunications, and when you're knowledgeable about the location of a woman, may experience emotional difficulties, or it becomes simpler to approach mentally. Difficult circumstances with compassion and assurance and discernment, as well as the ability to see through people play these games because, let's face it, it's not about them. Everyone plays them. Transforming women into components for a puzzle to resolve or be disrespectful. It's important to understand what triggers them, regardless of whether you're attempting to strengthen your friendship and enhance your dating life, or simply enhance your communication comprehension at the highest level. Women's shortcomings will be advantageous to you. Become more effective and conscious. I'll lead you through this video, partner, exploring the top 5 flaws of women. Every man needs to understand that they aren't the things they'll tell you directly, but they possess the strength to alter the how you handle relationships. Therefore, explore and discover the exclusive information that will help you become a much more perceptive man. Regarding the comprehension of women. The thing that kills her is emotional validation. Her kryptonite is emotional validation. Women frequently appear strong and self-reliant. However, underneath that facade is an unquestionably emotional validation has enormous influence over them, whether it's a casual but meaningful relationship, friendship, or a long-term alliance. Women long to feel heard and seen, and emotionally appreciated. It's not simply regarding praise or extravagant displays. It's about demonstrating your genuine comprehension, her emotions and encounters. This is where the twist occurs. Emotional validation differs from us concurring with all of her statements. It's about recognizing her feelings, without downplaying or ignoring them, such as when she's ranting about a day of stress. Your instinct may be to leap in and provide answers, but that's not what she needs. But just say, something like that sounds really overpowering, which is why you're upset. A slight change shows her that you value her feelings, allowing her to feel secure and appreciated. What makes this so important? Frailty as a result of emotional approval is difficult for women to obtain. Everyone, a lot of individuals ignore their issues or categorize them as too sentimental or reacting excessively. When you intervene and fill that emotional divide, it produces a potent connection. She is attracted to you rather than since you're resolving her issues, but since you're giving her what she really requires: comprehension. But there's a catch. Emotional approval is not a means to manipulate. It's a sincere kind of communication. If you strategically use it or fake it without being sincere, she will ultimately expose the dishonesty, and that connection will break down. Genuine validation originates from actively listening to her, feel as though she is thinking and feeling matter, even if you disagree with them. Consider this situation. She returns home, annoyed that her supervisor didn't honor her efforts. Rather than saying it's not a big deal, just let it go deal, you reply, I see why that would annoy you since you put in so much effort and not receiving the accolades is unjust. In that time, you deserve confirmed her emotions, and she realized you didn't need to make the issue. You simply needed to be sympathetic when you recognize the emotional toll of confirmation. You open a more profound relationship with women isn't about altering your identity while acknowledging this important need and honoring it. That's how you develop emotional trust, closeness, and a feeling of security. Although she fears control, she is drawn to confidence. However, it can occasionally lead to her perilously near control, which is something that women are attracted to self-assurance, but terrified of authority. One of the most appealing qualities is confidence, qualities that men can possess, but it's a two-edged sword in relation to women's confidence signals. On the one hand, security prowess and leadership, the attributes that entice her to the purely fear. And why is this a very important dynamic? Women are inherently inclined to look for stability in a companion, and assurance provides that feeling of confidence. When a man he takes decisions with poise, without hesitation, and is aware of his value. It's very captivating, but here's the subtlety: when that self-assurance begins to overshadow her independence, it sets off a defensive response. For instance, consider you make plans with the person you're dating. She claims to be busy this weekend with a friend, and rather than honoring her decision, you insist on moving her around. Timetable that works for you, while your self-assurance in spearheading the plan could feel realistic to you. It can seemed abruptly domineering to her. The very quality that drew her in becomes the cause of her removing the here. Balance and genuine confidence are crucial. Isn't about controlling a circumstance, it's about taking charge without overpowering her. Women respect men who can be independent, make choices while maintaining the value of their input, whether she is comfortable speaking. Her boundaries and matters are respected. Your assurance becomes comforting. Instead of frightening, here's a substitute approach, assuming she is hesitant about which dining establishment is best for dinner. Rather than waiting for her to make a decision or imposing your preferences, you may claim that I am aware that you have been desiring Italian food. How about we visit that new location? Downtown. This demonstrates your self-assurance. Sufficient to assume the lead while still remaining considerate of her women's desires, make them fearful of control, because it erodes their perception of nobody wants to feel independent. In a way, they're losing themselves. Relationship by displaying self-assurance. Without stepping into a position of authority, you show that you're protected in treat her as an equal and respect yourself. Fundamental partner. This equilibrium of trust is built on self-assurance and respect. Know you're a person who can endure firm when needed, but not too much, and believe me when I say that she feels her. Your appeal to me grows in ways that are difficult to explain. The fixation with, the preoccupation with understanding being recognized as one of the most underappreciated facts concerning women include their intense, nearly unwavering desire to be realized that it's more than just a preference. It is a necessity that permeates all of their mental and emotional terrain. Women flourish when they are connected, and the emotion is at the core of that connection, that someone genuinely makes them consider, when was the last time you saw a woman irritated not because someone didn't agree, due to the fact that she felt that her point of view was not taken into consideration, is not about being correct or incorrect. Rather, it's about feeling validated, heard and seen in a society that frequently ignores or oversimplifies their feels. The need to be understood is the reason why communication is so. The foundation of any partnership with her. For her, a woman needs more than just an informal discussion or surface level. She wants depth in her banter, the kind of conversation in which she can be candid without fear of being rejected or judged. And when she fails to understand that, it causes a disengage, a hidden annoyance that can develop into what makes this so relevant is bitterness. Is that everyone want, on some level, to comprehend it. But for women, it's at the core of their emotional health. When she talks about her aspirations, worries, or even minor information about her, she doesn't need someone to fix her today. Her issues, and is looking for a relationship, an indication that someone is concerned enough to pay attention and make an effort to comprehend her. Viewpoint, however, the irony is that women frequently feel misinterpreted, even by they open to those closest to them. Extra to their closest pals or maybe strangers, occasionally, since those occasions of true comprehension can seem uncommon. Additionally, if you've ever heard of a "you just don't get it," the woman said, you have previously seen this. Frustration directly from the source. Recognizing this shortcoming does not imply you must accept everything or read her thoughts. It's about demonstrating empathy and tolerance, establishing a secure place where she is at ease. When you share her world in this way, you distinguish yourself not as someone who just listens, but with genuine concern to recognize that's the type of relationship that transcends language. Creating a world that gives her a sense of her protected weakness is a two-sided blade. Her guarded vulnerability is irreplaceable, is a two-edged sword because women are frequently regarded as emotionally transparent, yet the reality is much more intricate underneath. There is a protected vulnerability in addition to she may seem extremely protective of her powerful and self-sufficient, yet on the inside she's continuously striking a careful balance between wishing to grant access and dreading the repercussions of doing so. This protective aspect is one of her most significant shortcomings that most men overlook. Let's just clarify one thing. Because she appears reluctant or aloof does not imply that she is indifferent. It's frequently. On the contrary, her protective demeanor is a defensive system developed over many years of feeling betrayed, emotionally hurt, or disappointment, because she is wary of who she lets others in on her inner life, because she gives more of herself once you're in, more than you might recognize, and this is where a lot of males mess up. They interpret her hesitation as disregard or consider her warning to be a game. If you believe she's playing, guys, wake up. Difficult to obtain, you're not getting it. Guarded weakness isn't a threat. Technique, it's survival, and women aren't only transferring their affections to anyone who smiles in their direction, as they check if you're willing and trustworthy to remain when things become difficult, and in the event that you're the type of man who can manage the things that lie beneath her facade. The harsh reality is that too many men rush. The procedure they advocate for instant openness, anticipating that she will reveal her soul when she doesn't appear on their timeline. They become impatient or believe she's complex, but the truth is that if you're unable to manage her vulnerability, connections that don't warrant her trust, they are concerned with convenience. Relationship. If you're sincere about recognizing her and demonstrating its consistency, pay attention to what she says when she speaks. The minor details she divulges, because she uses those instances to test the waters. The more solid your base of the more you trust, the more she will lower her defenses. Her guarded vulnerability is the truth, is not only a reflection of her frailty, but also your own actions and how you respond to them indicate it's more about you than she is. If you come up to her impatiently, or you'll never understand the level of entitlement of her actual self. However, if you're patient, helpful, and sincere, you'll open a much more profound connection, more than you could think. Her love of excitement struggles with her need for stability. She struggles with her need for stability. Affection for women's excitement is a continual pull. Between two conflicting desires, steadiness and enthusiasm, it's among their most fascinating but weakest characteristics that every man possesses must realize. The reality is that she longs for the stability and security of a relationship with a reliable companion. Someone who consistently provides why and emotional security, but concurrently she enjoys the rush of spontaneity. Enthusiasm, as well as the unexpectedly juggling these two requirements, is not only difficult for her, it's almost. The catch is that most guys find this impossible, serve only one side of this equation. Some people take great satisfaction in being the safest. Choice is trustworthy, but to the point of boredom, predictable. Some people get excited, bringing adventure and passion, but providing minimal long-term benefits. Safety and neither extreme actually fulfills her, since she doesn't desire to pick one over the other that she desires. This has nothing to do with women becoming unattainable or difficult to please. It's about being aware of their stability and complexity makes her feel as though she is grounding a basis in which she feels secure herself. But too much of it can be perceived as oppressive, making her yearn for something to pique her interest and arouse her curiosity and enthusiasm about. On the other side, she feels alive, bringing to her attention the unpredictable nature of life, but it can feel unstable without stability, like abandoning her and moving on shaky ground, nervous, and what does this signify for males who are insecure? It's time to take charge. Being overly predictable puts you at risk. If you're all bored, you're losing her. Ecstatic that you don't have to risk any foundation losing her, to the key to demonstrating ambiguity is balance. That you can serve as her fulcrum while continuing to astound her in ways that for instance, make a plan to impromptu date night following a week of routine, or give her a meaningful surprise gesture that she doesn't anticipate. Prove to her that you're not only there to give her protection, while also keeping her. Women who are interested don't desire perfection. They wish to find someone who is aware of this push and is prepared to meet her in person. If you can master this, in the middle equilibrium, you'll grow into the guy she needs, not simply wants, the person who can provide the best of both worlds for her. Not only is it appealing, but it's, at the end of the day, unforgettable. In conclusion, recognizing these shortcomings isn't regarding coercion or exploiting connection is key, because women are complicated, and their weaknesses frequently reflect their best qualities. If you can see beyond the obvious and genuinely comprehend, discover what drives her, you'll establish a connection. This is the difficult part that most men just dream of. The fact is that a lot of males don't succeed in relationships, as they believe they already know things pertaining to ladies. But allow me to, if you're unwilling to learn how to be blunt, to evolve and adapt, you'll never be the world is full of guys, but she needs one. Seeking momentary thrills and superficial approval, be different. The man who values the depth and layers of emotion and psychology that I want to hear her become who she is now. From you, how is your encounter with recognizing women? Have you observed any of these dynamics in your interpersonal connections? Leave a remark here, and I'll directly. We're all in this together, so reach out. Developing stronger partnerships begins with genuine discussions, and I'm available for it, and keep in mind this contentious. In actuality, women desire more than just love. Wish to experience true recognized. If you're not providing her with that, someone else will have time to process that.